now we are live.
Okay. All right. I have a story here. It's sort of thinking ahead because next week is Tisha B'Av, when we do commemoration of the temples, plural, in Jerusalem being destroyed. But this is a story that takes place when the temple was still standing and the priests still did their things, which you'll find out with the appropriate wear. So long ago, when the temple still stood, there lived a man named Netina. Netina was one of the greatest craftsmen of his time, a maker of fine jewelry. He had a grown son who lived with him, and they worked together side by side in a jewelry shop. Though old Netina was the owner of the shop, more and more Dama, his son, was running for it and caring for his father because his father's health was poor. One cold and dreary day, Netina went into the back of the shop to rest. Dama brewed himself a cup of coffee to try to stay warm and awake. There had been no customers in the shop for days, and Dama's eyes were growing tired of watching the handle of the door, hoping that someone would open it. Only a few people hurried by in the misty rain, carrying groceries or bundles of firewood. No one, it seemed, was thinking about jewelry. No marriages were being contemplated. No earrings had been lost. No bracelets had been broken. Then, all at once, the door pushed open in a whirl of damp air. Two men wrapped in heavy cloaks walked into the shop. One of them placed an oddly shaped package on the counter. "Young man," he said, "we are here on official business. Go and get the owner of the shop." "The owner of the shop is my father," Dama said, "but he's resting in the back. Can I help you?" No, this is too important a job," said the man. When Dama opened his mouth to disagree, the other man said simply, "Show him." The first man hesitated and then untangled the straps that held the package closed. Layers of burlap, felt, and finally silk fell away, revealing a sight so gorgeous that for a moment Dama stopped breathing. It was the breastplate worn by the high priest in the temple in Jerusalem. In the middle was a thick gold chain, and on this heavy slab that were filigree designs were arranged 12 sparkling precious jewels, one for each of the 12 tribes of Israel. It was the most important and holy necklace in the world because the priests wore it when they made sacrifices in the temple. The two men were almost relieved to have revealed the secret of their package. "Now you know, young man, why we need to speak to only the most experienced craftsmen," said the first man. "See, look, here, a ruby has cracked and we must be replaced, but it has to be done perfectly." Dama's mind raced. A job like this could give him enough money to support himself and his father for years. It could bring in enough money that maybe Dama could finally get married and buy a house and even have a family of his own. Dama tried not to show his excitement as he held the precious breastplate up to the weak winter night. "This is an exceptional piece of work," he said, as he handled the breastplate delicately. "You've come to the right place. We have the kind of ruby that you're looking for, and my father and I can make the repair right away." Dama walked into the back room. His father was deep asleep in a chair next to the work table. Dama put out his hand to shake his father's shoulder and wake him up, but he hesitated. Lately, Netina had been waking up several times a night, unable to breathe. He would get out of bed and spend the rest of the night dozing in a chair. Dama watched his father's peaceful sleep for a minute more before returning to the men in the other room. "I'm sorry, gentlemen," he said, "but you'll have to come back later today. My father is resting, and I don't wish to disturb him." For a long moment, the men just stared at Dama. "Don't wish to disturb him?" one of them finally burst out. "Think what you're saying. This is a breastplate of the high priest of Israel." The other man said in a low voice, "Young man, we are prepared to pay you 1,000 gold pieces for your work. Do you really think your papa would be upset if you woke him? He'd be more upset if you let us walk out the door." 1,000 gold pieces is a fair price, said Dama, but you'll have to come back later. His mind was made up. Money comes and money goes. But Natina hadn't rested in days, and Dama would not disturb his father for any amount of money. The men stared at him, then turned away to whisper together. "All right," said the quieter man, facing Dima again. "You drive a hard bargain. You know there is no other jeweler with this skill for us to turn to. 10,000 gold pieces. 10,000 gold pieces, shouted the other man angrily, and not one more. His raised voice had done what Dama had not been willing to do. Natina, awakened, stumbled from the back room, smoothing his hair and squinting. "What's going on, son?" he said. His eyes fell on the breastplate. It was lying on the counter. "Who are these men, and what do you want?" he gasped, looking from one to the other. "We simply want your help, and we offered to pay 1,000 gold pieces," said the first man. "Yes," growled his companion. "You should ask your son what he wants. He said our offer was fair, but then he tried to drive up the price." "That doesn't sound like my son," Natina answered. "It's not, Papa," said Donna, exacerbated. "I asked them to come back later, and they thought I was bargaining with them, but really I just didn't want to wake you." "Ah, now that sounds more like the son I know," Natina laughed. "Well, gentlemen, I'm awake now, and my son and I will be pleased to do whatever work you require." And as he led the way into the workroom, he nodded proudly at Dama and gave his broad shoulder a little squeeze. "But we can only accept 1,000 gold pieces if Dama already agreed to it," he said. "My son, as you can see, is an honorable man." Through the afternoon and the evening, they sat close together, bent over the work table. They spoke little as they handed tools back and forth, but their movements were as precise as a filigree on a breastplate, and their work together was as perfect as the clasp that fastened it. The next day, the breastplate was back in the temple around the neck of the high priest. Dama and Natina had worked so skillfully that the repair job was invisible. But whenever the high priest called God Av, Father, in his prayers, the new ruby seemed to pulse and glow with a rosy light. It was almost like a heart filled with honor for a parent or love for a child. And that is our story tonight. I think there are a bunch of different variations on that tale, but this is a nice one.
Thank you for the story. And it connects to one of the sessions I'm considering for the study for this week, looking at love and joy, and where sometimes it is actually commanded. Not a love of a parent, but some other times and things in terms of love. And so it's intriguing. So as I was debating which session to do, I guess this sort of helps me with which session I should be studying. So we are going to move from here into Havdalah, and I'm going to put the blessings in the chat, and then we will be ready to get started. There's the first part. If I do it all in one, it doesn't come in. So hopefully this way it will work for us. Okay. So as we begin, I invite everyone who has a candle to light their candle. Oh, I got to move the fan. 1 second, it won't stay lit. Now maybe I can have it stay lit. Okay. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, la la la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen borei peri hagafen ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei minei v'samim borei minei v'samim. Sweetness and the sweet smell of the spices, and now the warmth of the candle. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei me'orei ha'esh borei me'orei ha'esh ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamavdil ben kodesh l'chol ben or l'choshen ben yom hashvi'i l'sheshet yemei hamaseh. Baruch atah Adonai hamavdil ben kodesh l'chol. Take a moment to concentrate on what we felt was Shabbat for this Shabbat, and be ready to take it with us into the week ahead. Then we put our candles out in our wine juice. And I invite you all to sing Eliyahu Hanavi with me, and then we will sing Shavua Tov as well. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hakiladi, Bimheira B'yameinu Yavo Eloheinu, Imashiach ben David, Imashiach ben David, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagirati. You want to unmute the rest of you to join us in Shavua Tov and wishing everyone a good week. Shavua Tov, 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 Shavua Tov. A good week, a week of peace, may gladness reign and joy increase. A good week, a week of peace, may gladness reign and joy increase. Shavua Tov. This actually also ends Rosh Chodesh Av, since the Rosh Chodesh for the month of Av was also on Shabbat. So we can also say Chodesh Tov one more time to wish everyone a good month as we move into the month of Av together. So next week when we're together for Havdalah, Rabbi Rich will be leading things. It'll be Havdalah and also some things for Tisha B'Av, which actually starts next Saturday night and Sunday. So we'll be doing that again here.